Well, my real name is William Brian Bates, but I prefer Badger, and I was called Badger after Wind in the Willows, and I got it from Wilcannia. When I was supposed to go to mission school, I used to go there now and again, and I liked going hunting and fishing better than the school, so they just called me Badger. Well, this piece here, this line-up print here, I just call it Emu Sky. Is why I call it Emu Sky, there's an emu ear, and if you're looking at the right part of the sky in the winter, you'll see an emu in the sky, and the Milky Way changes its head go down like that, and when the Milky Way changes its head down, that means the emu is laying eggs. So I put an emu ear, emu egg ear, and then that emu there, he walked along up here, went out a feed of berries from the bush there, he stopped and walked around like that, and he's walking back. Also it's focused on early in the morning where you got the moon up and the Big Dipper's in this area, and it's sort of focused on early morning because of the morning star, and it's lighting these things up because the sun's coming up behind this hill, but also the moon here is lighting the stars up this way. So I just wanted to do that one so people can always look at the lino print and see the emu in the sky and relate to the lino print. My practice as an artist, I don't know, it was funny, I was born in Wilcannia, reared up in Wilcannia, and just lived in a tin hut on the riverbank, never lived in a mission, but always sat down and watched my old grandmother. She learnt me to carve emu eggs when I was 8-year-old. And as I was growing up, I was watching my old uncles and carve boomerangs and stuff like that, and I just went from there. I didn't even know what the word sculpture was until about 4 years ago or something, when people, I used to say I was just a wood carver, and just carved stone, but it's a bit strange to be called a sculptor when you just come from being a boomerang maker, but yeah. We had one sister and 5 boys, and I was the second eldest boy, and because my dad was a white man and he fought in the Second World War, but reared up around Wilcannia and Whitecliff with my people, and he got with my mum, and I came along, but he couldn't marry mum because she was black and he was white, and it was sort of great in a way because being like having a white dad, black mum, I had a chance to get around because my grandmother always outsmarted the welfare, because I was a target for the welfare for stolen generation, but she always outsmarted them and took me from Wilcannia up towards Burke, where I met some of the Gamilaroi people and that, and Ngimba people, then across the lake at Jellicoe, that's towards Condo, and met up with mob of Ngimba people, Wiradjuri people, and then back to Wilcannia, and we sort of travelled in a triangle. But while I was being taken around, it was good. I was learning and watching other people do stuff, plus my grandmother was teaching me about our Barkindji culture and Barkindji Gurnu culture, and sometimes it was hard, we didn't have much to eat, but I think if I had to live my childhood over again, I'd say I want to be like I was. Yeah, well, this print here, I call it Mission Mob, Ben Mob, Wilcannia 1950s, and I didn't live in the mission, so this is the mission, this is the mission school, and I lived on the riverbank in 2 little tin huts here. This is the river, go around like that, and you can see the fish, the 2 rainbow serpents. This is a billabong where we learned to go and fish, catch yabbies, get duck eggs and everything. And this is a white sand hill. It's a burial ground, but we was allowed to go and play around, but after dark, before dark, we had to get away from here. And all the town of Wilcannia town is on up there. I didn't put the town in, or the bridge, because I wasn't allowed to cross the bridge because of my dad, and I had real fair skin. And Granny used to think if I went across the bridge, the welfare would get me and take me away. And a lot of the kids that was taken from Wilcannia and around, they was taken down this road towards Sydney, and they was taken to Sydney on this road. This is the Sydney road, and that's why I just left the white marks and really black in the middle, because it's sort of, to us, it's the road where people took our family away. And yeah, I think it had a really big impact on me, because we had to sit down, we had to go to the rubbish tips and get all our little bits of rusted stuff, and we had to make our own toys because we didn't have any money for toys, but there was always hand-me-downs and stuff, and we was learning to fix it up and just picking up bits of wood and started to make our own toys, and using a stone as a motor car or a horse and cart. We'd sit down and we'd get the black river mud from Wilcannia. Like at Wilcannia you got red ground and black ground in the floodplains, and we'd get the black clay mud and we'd make horses and stuff. And now and again, if we could afford it, we was allowed to go to see the pictures, and we'd watch the cowboys and Indians, and we'd sit down and make these little horses about so high and put little men in it on them, And so I think just from having that childhood sort of with nothing, and you had to try and make something out of nothing, I think that's what got me today. I think if I was spoilt and my family had a lot of money, I don't think I'd be where I am today. I don't think I could do it. I like carving because that's what my grandmother learned me to do. I'm 62 today, and also by doing these carvings and putting the designs and the bones of the structure of fish, I'm sort of telling my grandmother, yes, I'm going to carry on what you learned me. Yeah, well, with that, it sort of goes back to when we used to sit on the riverbank. My grandmother would go around, she spoke 3 or 4 different languages, but when she'd go around, they'd be talking to some other old people, they'd be always drawing things on the ground and then telling me, this is what you do, this is how we make our boomerang, this is how we make our thurring, our stone axe and stuff like that. And then when I sort of growing up and grew up and became a National Parks officer, I spent a lot of time around Mutawinji National Parks and just looking at the engravings on the rock and the stencils and stuff like that, and then sort of explain it to people because that's what grandmother told me about. And I respect the people, the old people that do the dots from the top end, and I try and tell my mob, don't do too many dots, because really that's belong to them other old people, not our old people, and we should just do what we was learned to do and stuff like that. And I think I don't like calling myself an artist, but if you want to be an artist and do something, you shouldn't muck with other people's stuff what they do. You should do your own, or don't do it at all, I reckon. Just back in, say, 91, about that time, there was another Aboriginal fellow, his name was Bill Hudson, he's a good mate of mine, he passed on. He was a lino print maker from Moree, and then my partner Sarah and one of our friends, Karen Donaldson from Wilcannia, they always wanted me to do lino prints, but I sort of wasn't interested in them until this fellow, this Bill Hudson, came along, and he was like a brother to me. He sat down, he gave me a piece of lino, just about a foot square right around, and I carved it, and but it was it was a bit foreign to me, because carving an emu egg, you get the knife and you pull it towards you, but carving lino I had to push away, and what made it worse, it was in the winter time, and the lino tool kept slipping, and so I was like a little kid going back to school and trying to learn to read and write, but it started to slip away, and after a lot of casting I mastered how to do it. And then I think it was 91, we had a couple of exhibitions, And just before Bill had an exhibition, and just before he had his exhibition, he passed on, and he was a great mate, but his wife came up and said, take the exhibition, you still want to, so he came to Sydney, and from that exhibition I got into at the Tin Shed, I got into the National Gallery in Canberra, but yeah, it was Bill Hudson what inspired me, and it was his exhibition what got me, I think, to where I am today, and I really appreciate that, and for what he done for me. He done a real lot for me and my people, and yeah. Print here, I call it Iron Pole Bend, Wilcannia. It's focused on Wilcannia. The Wilcannia mission would have been around in this area here. The Darling River here, we've got 2 rainbow serpents coming up and they're blowing a rainbow out like that. We've got the emu in the sky. We've got the Big Dipper here. We've got the 7 Sisters here. And fishing and swimming, I was reared up about there. When you go from Wilcannia towards Broken Hill, there's a lake what they call Lake Waichuka, and that's what the white people call it, but we call it Waichuka, and Waichuka means the moon, and it's the moon lake, and why it's just got dead fish in the lake is because we're just getting out of a drought for over 10 years, and our people are draining the Darling River and other rivers for doing crops and everything, and it's killing everything. So what I'm trying to do in this one is say, look after the environment, don't get too greedy, because this is what happens with your fish and your yabbies and the freshwater mussel, they die. And then not only the fish that die, but the animals die too. So why I like always, in my work, I'll always put the outline of the kangaroo, because that's how my dad seen it, because he was a white man. I put the bone structures because we eat the animal, and also we know the bone structures in the animal. And that's the one thing what Granny always said, when you kill something, have a good look at it and respect what you eat. So that's why, to me, this kangaroo would have fed my family, or the goanna. So I put it back in my artwork to tell that animal that I respected it, because it fed me, my family, stopped us from starving, and I'm bringing it back to life by doing this artwork. Also, if I got to cut a tree to make a sculpture, I'll go and get a piece of dead tree, and what I'm up to now, I always go and get the offcuts off the river red gum, because they got one big flat cut and then a nice round back, and I carved the dead trees or dead wood. So when I carve the dead wood, I'm bringing it back to life, because it might have been laying there for 50, 60 years, but with my carving I bring it back to life for someone to enjoy. In my work I try and put across, and if people look at it, is we must look after the environment. If we don't, we're going to be finished and we'll have nothing, and all we see is just the stars in the sky, and probably if we keep going we probably won't even see them anymore. We'll just pollute the world too much and everything will be finished. I think the message would be, when they look at my work, is to be proud of who you are. I hope my work inspire a lot of people, but also I hope my work, it will stop a lot of people from hating each other, because like I had a rough life too, but we've got to learn to all live with one another, whether you're black, white or what colour you are. And I just hope that we could all live together happy in Australia and make things work, and just show people how beautiful our country is, our artwork. And I just hope it inspires people and make them forget about a lot of their hate and just go from there. I believe in Jesus Christ, I believe in Gulawara, I believe in the Aboriginal law, I believe in the whitefellas law, and I think I'm one of the lucky ones from my upbringing and having a white dad and a black mum, because I got two cultures, and I respect both of them, and I'm proud of both of them, and I'm proud of who I am.